Why are we called Negroes? Why are we deaf, dumb, and blind? Why is everybody making progress, yet we seem to be lagging so far behind? Why are we mistreated? Why are we in this condition, stripped of our name, our language, our culture, our God, and our religion? Here in America, all of our religious training has been gotten by the preacher. He has told us of a heaven way up in the sky that we can't enjoy now, but rather after.
And here we are once again.
And here we are once again. That's a song. Okay.
You're just gonna make a song out of it. I made a song about it. Now here we go.
I want to first start off in the most holy name of Allah, always been witness that there's no God but Allah, and Muhammad is its messenger. I would like to greet you all in the greeting words of peace in the beautiful Arabic language of Assalamu alaikum. And that just means simply peace be unto you. And that is also for my Christian brothers and sisters. And just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful privilege and blessing in the presence of you with your information and your Thursday night talks with your 7th Region Coalition.
That's right.
Everything is yours. It's pointing to you. You are the prize.
Yours.
Not ours. Yours.
Tuyo. Esto es tuyo.
Este es tuyo. Okay.
Tuyo. Yours.
I'm going to work on that, Brother Tony. And with that being said, I am going to turn it over to Brother Tony. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, the one God to whom holy praises are forever due. I am forever thankful to Almighty God Allah for the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I thank them both for the honorable Minister Farrakhan. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you. Abragani. Buenas noches. Sak pase. Free the land. Black power. Brown power. Red power. All power to the people.
All the power.
Welcome to Thursday Night Talks, which is headed up by the 7th Region Coalition to Help Save Lives. The 7th Region Coalition to Help Save Lives has been assembled by a student regional minister. We were assembled soon after the criterion message of the Honorable Minister Farrakhan. That took place on July 4th, 2020. And we were put together with the aim and purpose of saving lives, warning our people about dangerous experimental inoculations. Well, here we are today, still guiding our people through the 9 ministries given to us by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And he gave us these 9 ministries in the midst of the 2005 Millions More movement. 9 ministries where we could find our purpose in life. 9 ministries all geared towards saving lives. 9 ministries to help us work out our purpose in life.
Yes, sir.
Those of us who are registered members of the Nation of Islam, and those who are seeking to align with us in unity. 9 ministries. Tonight, we are focusing on the Ministry of Trade and Commerce. We do not have trade and commerce among us. We don't have anything, because it is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad talked about farmland. Farmland is the engine of a nation. And on farm, you grow things. We also grow and develop things as a people. We should be in the practice of business. As the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has taught us, that business is the practice of life. So this Ministry of Trade and Commerce is responsible for the growth and development of the business and economic interests of the society. This ministry is dynamic in nature, relying on the input of consultants with experience and success in business and economics. It analyzes the economic state of the community and develops programs and policies for growth and stability on the basis of the needs of the community. It translates skills, talents, and interests of the community into viable revenue streams and works with the Ministry of Education to encourage entrepreneurship. And so we look forward to having a dialogue with our brother, who will be introduced by Brother Mark here tonight. I hand it over to you, great and awesome Brother Mark.
Brother Mark, before you get started, I just, because it's in my spirit. I'm just talking about my spirit. It's in my spirit. Y'all need to do this.
Oh, no, yeah, we can't forget about this. Thank you, Sister Kalila.
You're welcome. It was just in my spirit, brother.
Oh, no, we absolutely have to do this.
Thank you for your spirit.
No, we have to share and like, copy and paste on the URL, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook or Twitch. Copy it, share it with people that you love, that you know that will benefit from the message tonight, which is really, guess who? Everybody. So go ahead and share it with everybody right now.
That's right.
Thank you so much for that, Sister Khalid.
You're welcome, sir.
Oh, praise is due to Allah. Well, tonight's guest is our brother Hakeem Muhammad, and he is striving to be not just a man, but a mission in motion. As a proud fruit of Islam, representing Mosque number 29 in Miami, Florida, under the banner of the 7th region, he stands shoulder to shoulder with soldiers of light under the divine leadership of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the spiritual tutelage of Student Minister Patrick Muhammad. As a chartered retirement planning specialist at the 2nd largest bank in the United States, Brother Hakeem Muhammad provides comprehensive retirement planning and investment strategies to blue-collar professionals and the families who depend on their labor. His service expands multiple states, including Georgia, Texas, Pennsylvania, and New York, because his reach follows the need. Outside of the bank, he serves as South Florida Regional Treasurer for the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, advancing Black home ownership and community wealth. Brother Hakeem blends spiritual principles with professional practice, studying biblically responsible investing and Islamic finance. He envisions launching a faith-based advisory firm rooted in biblical values and Sharia-compliant ethics, because financial freedom is essential to a truly independent nation. He believes what the scripture says: what you do unto the least of these, you do also unto me. Whether through finance or faith, Brother Hakeem Muhammad is committed to building not just a business, but a future of freedom, justice, and equality. You are either breaking the chain or adding to it. There is no in between. Let us bring to Thursday Night Talks our dear brother, Brother Hakeem Muhammad.
All
Woo!
right. Man, oh man. Let me tell you, brother Mark, I really, really appreciate the way you articulated and the way you brought me on. I was like, man, you can't be talking about the same person.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about you, brother.
I'm sitting here looking on the screen. I wonder who else is on the line here. Well, I'm very, very humble, very appreciative, and very, very grateful to be on this podcast and this platform with you all today. Assalamu alaikum, family.
Walaikum
Salam. Happy to have you, dear brother. Thank you for joining
honor
us.
to have you on, Brother Hakeem.
Thank you. Truly
Listen,
a pleasure.
me and we were actually in the lab. I call it the lab when we have our meetings, and we were brother Tony and brother Mark was going over the title, um, the economics of manhood. I say manhood.
Yeah, something for the brothers.
We're going to focus on womanhood too.
We need
I
something
say-
for the
Manhood and
brothers.
womanhood.
I was like, well, what's up with that? And so, of course, they broke it down. Well, what happened was, and I said, okay, because again, it's mankind, but we're in modern times. So I was like, ain't no womanhood in that. So brother Tony said, absolutely is womanhood. So I was like, okay, praises be to Allah. I'm glad I'm in the number when the saints go marching in.
But
So I was
Sister
like,
Kalila,
yes,
Sister Kalila, you will bear witness that since we are taught that men are the maintainers, it is
come on.
critical for men to be on top of this subject here, even more so than the woman. It's critical for us because we're responsible for the finances. Am I right?
That's right.
Yeah, you right up there, man. You right up there, brother.
We ain't going to be sugarcoating nothing. Absolutely.
Look,
Hey, I
talk
hear
black to me. Just talk black to me. Just talk black to me. I'm with it.
I
I'm
got
talking
you.
black and exact.
I'm glad you
Black.
brought that up, sister. I'm so glad you brought that up. And I was actually going back and forth trying to figure out what I was going to talk about. What was I really going to bring to the platform? I got one shot at this. What would Brother Tony want me to bring to this platform if I had a shot? The only thing that came to mind was economics of manhood. Now, I was thinking, why just focus on the manhood? Well, being the fact that Mother's Day already passed, and I'm trying to get everyone
The biggest
geared
holiday.
up for Father's Day. We got to show out. So I said, what, let me do something for the fathers that's coming in, manhood, but most importantly, to Brother Mark's point,
Right.
men have a huge responsibility in the community. We are the defense, producers, and providers. And honestly, we cannot have the community that we would feel safe in if these men, our men, did not feel comfortable. Now we already know. Let's call a spade a spade. A man can't be a man unless he has a good woman.
Ooh, yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
So anytime we talk about men,
anytime
we talk about elevating men,
That's right.
as we all know and we're taught, no one man can rise not only above the condition of their people, but one man cannot rise above the condition of their women. So it is equally important to talk about women when we talk about men.
Beautiful.
We're not talking about boys here, Brother Tony. We're talking about men.
No.
So
Men.
boys don't need women. Men do.
That's right, Brother Rashad. Yes, sir.
Lord,
right there.
You must be from the 7th region.
Don't make me fall in love with this.
Look.
Oh,
He's from Miami, the 7th Regional Headquarters. Yeah.
Represent.
Represent.
Praises be to Allah. Well, you can't judge a book by its title. So let's begin, shall we? Why is it so important to plan for retirement? And when you plan for retirement, how should you start your retirement plan?
Oh, that's a good question. Very good question. Thanks for taking that one in. How you plan for retirement is first figuring out what does retirement look like for you.
Okay,
Mm.
You
all
know,
right.
everyone has their different version of of retirement. If you go ask one side of the coin, they say my version of retirement is sitting on the beach, drinking non-alcoholic pina colada. Someone may say that retirement is leaving the workforce and spending all of my time in the church. Or you may go ask Brother Tony and ask him what retirement means. And he said, Brother, there is no word retirement in the Bible or the Quran. So what are you talking about this retirement? We work for Allah.
Right.
So you first got to determine, what does retirement look like for you? Is it retirement such as we mentioned, or is it work optional? Once you
Mm.
figure out what retirement is, then you start the process of working backwards. Now,
Mm.
as a man, it is the man's responsibility to actually have this plan in place.
Mm,
Because one of the things is, as a man, you will eventually, if you're not already are, a father. And look in the word father. Your job is to throw your spear as far as you can, but
mm,
then set up the systems, the environment that allows your children to throw farther than you. So in order to do that, you got to have a plan in place. And
teach it.
having a proper retirement and investment plan in place helps you do that. Then
Oh,
you just work backwards. And if you work backwards, you can start off small and then allow compound and the snowball effect to help you get to ultimately where you want to be. That's why
Yeah.
retirement is so important. We can go more into it, but I want to make sure I'm respectful
oh,
of the time.
Yeah,
Brother,
teaching.
Brother Hakeem, I don't have to wait till I'm 50 to start doing that. Is it advisable that the earlier you are, the better?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, you can actually start if your parents are up to speed, which is why this seventh region coalition is so important. You can actually get up to speed saving for your children's retirement before they even get out of the womb. They
mm.
got special programs, most importantly, such as a 529 plan that helps them plan for college. But here's the best part. What if your child doesn't want to go to college? Okay, that's fine. Guess what? That 529 plan actually converts into a retirement account for your child. So now they get a 20 to 22-year head start, depending on wherever they want to go to college, whenever they decide, or whatever the college age is. So you can start as early as then. The earlier you start, the easier it is to finish.
Oh, that is amazing. Thank you
Wow.
so much for that answer. I mean, it really gave me goosebumps because we're us folks are not talking about retirement and the no, I'm just being honest.
Yeah, we think we're going to live forever.
Not only, yes, absolutely, and that's why a lot of people don't get life insurance policies, but I digress.
Mhm.
Right.
Sister Farr is on here and she can bear me witness, because her lines is not ringing off the hook yet about how many people need life insurance policies.
Right.
But it's a very um it's a unicorn conversation that
Yeah.
is being had amongst our people, and then we and but we're throwing these stones at this image of reality, right?
Mhm.
And we don't take the responsibility and the accountability of, we're going to get old one day.
That's right.
Okay. This is going to happen, and we cannot be doing the same thing that we used to do. Like if you were somebody, you were in the 20s and you were a garbage man and you were jumping on and jumping off of
Mhm.
trucks,
Yes.
50 years old, 55 years old, you possibly can do it. However, it's just one of those things that it's impossible for
Mhm.
you to be trying to do something that you did in the 20s.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
I thank you for that.
Realistic. We
Yeah,
have to
You
be
gotta
realistic.
be
We have to
realistic.
really
realistic.
be realistic about our life expectancy, and then we have to have room for the actual what I call it, the bump in the road, right? We
Mhm.
never know what our destiny will be in the future. So if you think that you're going to be that 25-year-old going and doing the same thing that you did and you're 55 years old, then
Mhm.
we need to talk about the reality of that whole
Totally.
right dynamic.
Totally. You're 100% correct, sister. And you know what? What you said hits dead center to a biblical principle in the Bible. You know, honestly, Jesus said it best in Matthew. I think it was Matthew chapter 26. Yes, Matthew chapter 26, where he said, the spirit is willing, but the body is weak. So the spirit is willing to work as long as we possibly can, but the body in this course, as we've been taught, is finite. As well as we take care of it, as well as we go to our Wednesday night class and learn how to eat to live, this body is still finite, and we have to plan and project for that. As a man, that is your responsibility. You have to have one of the attributes of a man is to have a level of foresight for your children and for your family and for your wives. You know, we can really talk about it. I'm trying not to, I don't want to go too deep into the weeds.
No, but
No.
can I just stop you right there? Let's do this. I just want us to like and share.
Absolutely.
Because this right here is going to get better and better and better as the day go by.
And if you have questions, dear family, please post them in the chat.
Please post
Take
them.
advantage of this opportunity.
Interactive.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, this is pure Q&A. This is a fireside chat. Let's throw out the script and let's have a conversation.
Let's deal.
Very
All
good.
right. I'm with it.
Let me, what I'm about to ask Brother Hakeem is related to what I mentioned earlier. So how important is it for a young man to learn how to economize, save, and not live beyond our means? In the words of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Absolutely. It's very, very important to live below your means, and honestly not to live beyond your means, because if you live below your means, you can set yourself up for any emergencies or opportunities that may come along. What case in point, you're going to go through different storms. Everyone has their season. You know, as they always say, if you're not dealing with a problem right now, you either came out of one or you're heading into one. You need to be able to be financially prepared for those swings and those seasons that come along. And by you living below your means allows you to prepare yourself to be above those situations. So, but by making it also develops a level of discipline as well. If you're living off, say, for example, 40% of your income, even sometimes 30% of your income, that means there's an additional 60% that can go towards savings, or additional 60% that goes towards your investment. Like we mentioned, you don't want to be working forever. Or maybe you do, but you don't want to be working for someone else forever.
Come on.
You know, look what the Lord's Prayer said. It said, give us this day our daily bread.
Come on.
Now, when we're working, we only get weekly or bi-weekly bread. Let's be real.
Right.
It doesn't say give us this day our bi-weekly bread. So by the Lord's Prayer alone, it tells you as a man, you need to have an opportunity set up where you are making daily bread, and you can only do that if you are saving, if you are investing. Now, I'm not saying invest into the stock market. I'm saying invest into yourself. And get some studies in, you know, go to class, go to school. You want to get some designations, distinguish yourself from the pack. But you can't do that without money. You need to have those. And by living below your means allows you to take advantage of opportunities. That's what it's for.
Brother Hakeem, pick up some skills.
Pick up the skills.
Develop some products. Start with one product and build it from there, and sell the product. We have so many tools available now online to sell products.
Oh, absolutely.
The younger we are, the better it is, the more advantageous we are, so that we don't have to work so hard later on.
100%. And if I can speak to all the entrepreneurs that's listening on the call, the best time is to start early, even when it doesn't seem like it's the right time, because even if and when you do mess up, your recovery time is so much faster and you learn so much more. As they say, the master is just the person who's failed more than the person has tried, and you want to have the
Go ahead, my man.
Okay. That went over somebody's head, Brother Hakeem. Can you repeat repeat what you just said again?
I'm gonna do my best, but that was off the top.
God, oh, that was off the top.
Yes,
That
I
was
threw
off
out
the
this
top.
story.
Okay.
So, but the quote was, if I can remember correctly, the master has made more mistakes than the novice has tried, has ever even tried. He's made more mistakes than the person has even tried.
Right.
And you can't really get into that position unless you start at that young age that Brother Tony mentioned as an entrepreneur.
So technically, we already have the blueprint.
Oh yeah, we have the whole blueprint. As a matter of fact, the Bible and the Quran working together is possibly two of the biggest books that you can use for entrepreneurship. I mean, honestly, I swear, just between me and you, I honestly thought when they said, this is the Bible, and they said, well, I asked them when I was young, I said, what does the Bible mean? They said, oh, it means for, going to the Christian church, they say, hey, basic instructions before leaving earth. And I was like, okay, cool. Reading it. And I don't know why, but when I was reading it, I'm seeing all of these different business principles that's just jumping out of the page. And I'm like, did you just read this? And I go to my auntie, I go to my uncle. Do you know what this means? They said, yes, I know what it means. So it got to the point where in my own studies, I thought of in my own study, this is just personally for me, I said the Bible don't stand for basic instructions. I mean, the Bible doesn't stand for basic instructions before leaving earth. These are basic instructions for budget, lending, and equity. Look at all these business principles. Yeah. So that was just me in regards to my studies with it. So yes, those two books definitely for entrepreneurship. The blueprint is here. It's all written already. All you have to do is apply the pages and the principles.
All praises due to Allah. Well, dear brother, this is a subject that's near and dear to my heart.
It is.
Go to the next question. I introduce you as a chartered retirement planning specialist. So naturally, I want to know, what is a chartered retirement planning specialist, and discuss how you became involved in this role.
Oh man, that's a really good question, brother. Really, really good question. And to be honest, I didn't even get a chance to kind of even prepare for it. Didn't even get a chance to prepare for it. But to answer your question, a chartered retirement planning specialist is essentially just a designation, like we talked about, developing a skill.
Okay.
This is a designation as someone who is specializing in the financial advising and in financial investment management world. To giving people financial advice is a designation that specifically focuses, narrowed down on the needs and the strategies to help not just individuals, but business owners prepare for retirement. And I thought that was very, very interesting to me because of the fact that we not only need trade and commerce to sustain ourselves, we find out that according to the Small Business Administration, 85% of business owners believe that the best way to plan for retirement as a business owner is to sell their business. But here's the problem with that math. Out of that 85, 98% of them sells their business on average less than $300,000.
Wow.
Now, look, we don't even have to do math, but we do know we can't live off of less than $300,000. Okay?
Right.
Not really.
Right.
After working for 30, 40 years and your children don't even want to pick up where you left off, so you just sell the business, your only strategy is to sell the business.
Brother Hakeem, we're living in times where $100,000 could be blown easily.
Oh yeah, we live in Miami, brother. We blow that over the weekend.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
That's
So
not
absolutely. So I dedicated my profession to saying there is a better way, and I'm going to walk you through this process step by step, handling your taxes, helping you understand investments, helping you navigate despite what the market is doing, showing you what you should be doing in your market that you work in. And how I got into this was honestly as young. I have to give all praises due to Allah for having both parents, both my mom and my dad. I always like to portray them as, you know, the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yes, sir.
So I had no shot on them, but I had a rich parent and average parent in terms of finances. And I was able to see the different dynamics of what happens when you have this versus when you don't have it. And by doing that, I was able to understand that, okay, if I really want to change my life, if I want to make an impact, I have to make sure that I set myself and my family up to be financially secure and economically stable if I really want to have the life I want to live. Because I can't rely on losing hours when my child needs to eat. I can't rely on downsizing the business when I need to put food on the table. So I must have something for myself. Like it says, give us this day our daily bread. If you're not making daily bread, you are not biblically basing yourself. You're not putting yourself on a base that you can rely on. So that's what really got me into it, Brother Mark.
Awesome.
Thanks for setting me up.
Thank you.
Okay. Can I throw in something from the Hadith, Brother Hakeem?
Oh, please.
Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, said that the worst thing in the last days is a man that cannot profit off of his own knowledge.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
All right now.
Beautiful.
Oh, man, we see here. Case in point. Let's see. That's what I'm saying, Brother Tony. Why you don't need all these different business books. Now, they're good to have them, great supplements, but I'll be honest. These business books that are out there are just ripping from what's already been written.
That's right.
Back to the blueprint.
Back to the blueprint. Let's go back to basics, man. The basic instructions for budget, lending, and equity, right there.
Right now.
We can get into it too. I'm gonna slow down though.
Listen, I'm ready. Because the thing is, my next probing question, and you did touch on it a little bit, in regards to the plan, programs.
Yeah.
What do you recommend as a retirement plan program, such as like 401k, Roth IRA, stocks, bonds, etc.? I know you mentioned a program. I never heard of that program. Can you kind of shed some light on first what would be a very feasible one? Because I think you're targeting entrepreneurship, which is great. I love that. But me, like, I can give you kind of like an example of myself. I have a 9-to-5, but I also have a business, right? And I was told, and I thank Allah for our teachings, but I heard from the rostrum from Minister Sharif that every Black family should have their own business in their household. It can be whatever it is. A Black family should, even though they have their own 9-to-5, they should always establish a ownership of their own entity within their household.
Yes.
So,
absolutely.
What would be that recommendation?
Great question. And I love that you gave the example from student minister. You said student minister Sharif, right?
Sharif, yes.
Sharif, very good point. To echo what he said, it's very important that every family has some form of business on the side, because it's not only biblically obligatory. I mean, if we have to say it, it is biblically obligatory for you to have something for yourself on the side at the least. But it is also taxably incentive. The world that we live in, that we have to adapt to in this world, is leaned heavily on the business owner. The entire IRS tax code, the entire 1,225 pages are dedicated to incentivizing business owners by helping them save. So if you have a 9-to-5 job, yes, you're paying the highest taxes on wage earner tax. But if you have a business on the side, guess what? You now have an opportunity to write off different assets that you have. For example, the same car that you're using to go to work is the same car you can write off because you're using it for your business. Now,
Right.
remember, I'm not a tax account. I'm not a tax professional. And as my fiduciary responsibility, anytime I mention the word tax, I have to honestly disclose that you must always consult your trusted taxable advisor before proceeding. This is only for educational purposes and your
Yes,
training.
you can't write off everything, Brother Hakeem.
That is correct. You
That's why you
cannot.
do need to be in contact with a professional.
Exactly. So you want to make sure, but having a business on the side does allow you to take advantage of those taxable benefits, allowing you to not only save more money for retirement, which will go to the next question, but it also allows you to have a sense of fulfillment and independence, which you can't put a price on. Does that make sense, sister?
Yes, a perfect sense.
So now
Perfect.
let's excellent. So now let's talk about some of the retirement questions you have. What type of instrument to use? So as a 9 to 5, you're working.
Mhm.
Excellent. Keep doing that because on most 9 to 5 jobs, you have what is called a 401k plan.
Right.
Now, a 401k plan, honestly, is just a glorified savings account that may have some investments here and there, but mostly it's a glorified savings account. Now, the good thing about this specialized savings account is that it forces you to save for your own retirement. But
Mhm.
the best part about it is that most 401ks, at least 75% of them, have what is called a match program.
Right.
So with the match, that's literally free money, dollar for dollar, up to a certain percentage, usually 3 between 3 and 4%, where the employer will put in the same amount of money, dollar for what you put in, to help you reach your level for retirement. That's literally free money. So you want to take advantage of that 401k plan. And I encourage anyone who's working on someone else's job to take advantage of that 401k plan, even
Mhm.
when you move, because you can then move it. Another topic for another time. But as
Right.
a business owner, you're doing something on the side. You can have what is called a solo 401k. So
Okay.
with the solo 401k, you're also starting the process of saving on top of that. So you have the 401k from the job, and then you have another 401k for yourself as the business. You also can open up yourself in what is called a SEP IRA. And these instruments, and we can go into those details, but those
Mm.
instruments allow you to save up and maximize your opportunity for retirement down the road. The faster you save, the faster you get there.
Wow. That's beautiful. That means get off that money.
Yes. Or better
Stop
yet,
trying to hold on to it.
or to Brother Tony's point, live below your means so that you have that
Mm.
opportunity to invest, you have that opportunity to save.
In respects to children, we have a related question in the chat.
Mhm.
This is by Miguel Bean. He asked a question: how do you feel about UTMA accounts for children, Brother Hakeem?
Yes. Yes, Upman accounts are actually very well. You can save up to $19,000 a year in those accounts. They're very good because that allows you to put money to the side in order to help with children's growing and expenses. If you can, definitely put those there because traditionally, when you put money into those Upman accounts, they're earning a higher yield and a higher return than a traditional savings account, all depending on which brokerage that you're using to have that Upman account there. But it is definitely earning more than 0.001% that you put into a savings account.
Yes, sir.
It
Mm.
also helps develop discipline because once you put that money in there, you can't take it out. Some of us are, put in a savings account for a child, but we're joint owners because they're a minor. If we run into tough times, we might just kind of get our hands a little sticky and go and grab out of the savings account and say, I'm gonna put it back. But then
Right.
that time never comes. So
That is true.
definitely
That is
question,
true.
Brother Mikhail, having that account helps set it up so that your children can have a good start.
Mm.
And
Beautiful.
for anyone asking the question, what is that? What does UTMA mean? It means Uniform Transfers to Minors Act.
Yes.
Correct.
Correct, Brother Hakeem?
That is correct.
Okay.
And also to add, Brother Tony,
Yes.
I know that Vanguard is one of the investors that you can also go onto their website. I do have a Vanguard for my 401k as well. And I mean, for the past 15 years, I mean, they've been really good in regards to, and first of all, I'm not getting paid off of Vanguard. So Vanguard, if you're listening, I just gave you a shot at, run me that money. I'm just kidding. But but they have been pretty good. Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. They're actually one of the tops. They're actually one of the tops. So definitely got my respects for them.
Yeah.
Brother Hakeem, I have a question, and this
Yep.
for our young people, primarily, although not exclusively, because a lot of us have gotten comfortable, Brother Hakeem. We're living in times in which some of us, not all of us, but too many of us, say that Cash App or PayPal are our bank accounts. What is
Right.
the value and importance of having a real bank account from a real bank?
Uh-oh, you started something.
And what so some people gonna be hating on me after this question. But what kind of access does having a actually real bank account give us in the long term? We're dealing with basic 101, Brother Hakeem.
Absolutely, brother Tony. I appreciate that, man. So let's talk about it. Let's break it down. So you got some titans that really love Cash App, and we got to ask the question. What really is a real bank? Honestly, a
Mm.
bank is nothing more than a collective trusted saving strategy where you're saying, I trust this entity more than I trust my mattress, and I'm going to put it there. So,
Come on.
to answer that question, I have to say it depends. And here's why. You want to make sure that you're reading. When you have these small banks, such as Cash App, or even sometimes I heard this one person has a prepaid card and all their money is in the prepaid bank account that comes with the card at Walgreens. I asked the brother, you got to make sure, are you reading the fine print of all the fees that you're getting? Because
Mm.
by you having it in those small accounts, remember they're small. So for them to operate, they have to pull
Feed
fees
off.
in order to
Right.
survive.
Feed
They
off of
don't have a
you.
large deposit bank like banks do. So you want to check the fees. And most of the time, when you're trying to do a transfer out of an ATM, if you're trying to transfer money from one person to the next, if you're trying to transfer the money from your account to another account, they may charge you a fee. You want to be mindful of that. Now,
Yes, sir.
so using that small bank compared to a bigger bank, here's what you don't get from a small bank, or in this case, one of those, they call them neo banks, one of those e-banks that you have. What you don't get is the brick and mortar relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to have access and you want to build credibility.
Mm.
That's the biggest thing. By going to a bigger bank, you're building that relationship so that, especially as an entrepreneur, especially as someone who wants to do something on the side, especially someone who wants to purchase a home, you want to have a relationship with the bank that can provide you that financing so that you don't have to go out and look somewhere else for those needs and get
Mm.
charged a higher rate of interest. So the
Mm.
real reason why it's important to have a real bank is because if you want to do some real business and make a real impact for yourself and really start to save, you got to make sure you're cutting away the things that's cutting away from you saving, which is those high fees.
Mm.
Having a nice size bank account at a nice size bank helps you with that option. That's literally the only reason why. Because if we get into that, it then all depends on what benefits provides from bank A versus bank B, and going from bank O versus the credit union, which of course is another question for another time, which I would love to talk about later. but that's usually the reason why. The fees is usually the number one reason.
Ultimately, Brother Hakeem, see, as members of the Nation of Islam, we're encouraged to own land.
That is correct.
And if we want to buy, let's say, a house or buy some property, and then we're asked the question, because we're always asked the question, how much do you have saved? Well, let me check my little card right here. Let me check my Cash App. Let me check
Mhm.
my PayPal. Huh? That you
Yeah.
don't have it saved in a bank. It's like, how what kind of impact would that have? Would that
Absolutely.
preclude me from being able to have access like that to purchase land?
Well, now you're talking something more subjective. When you're dealing and purchasing with real estate, remember that is still the people's business.
Mhm.
So you're communicating with people. And once you start talking about getting in communication and trading and dealing with people, now you're starting to deal with the concept of perception. So, what is the perception as a professional that you're giving when you ask to see your bank statements and you're pulling up a Cash App card? Now we're talking about perception here, where they say success is the byproduct of presentation.
Right.
Well, if you're presenting yourself in the manner where, yeah, let me pull up my Cash App real quick. When they know Cash App is merely just for transfers back and forth, there's a level of they're not taking their financing seriously. Now, there are those rare situations, but let me tell you, they're so rare where someone would have $100,000 in a Cash App account, which I will say again, you're getting knocked across the head with the fees for those smaller banks. What it would be better to put that money into an account that is at least earning you a higher rate of return. Something else you don't get from smaller banks or smaller banks that only deal with transactional relationships. We can really get into high yield savings and things like that, but that's the reason why. You're talking about a sense of perception, and to better your perception and to lower the risk of, or the perceived risk for the seller that you're doing business with, is to do business with a bank they recognize. If they recognize the bank, they say, okay, I know he's serious. So that's one of the reasons for that.
Praise be to Allah. Man, y'all better share and like it, man. This is valuable information. And you're going to be missing this thing out. Y'all better like and share this. Somebody need to hear this.
No, we need it, Brother Mark.
Now,
Mark, we have a bunch of questions in the chat, but
okay.
if you could proceed with your question, my brother.
Okay, well, man, Brother Akeem, I want you to speak to some of those serial procrastinators out there that may not be blessed with youth right now, and they put this financial stuff off for so long that they are now find themselves in their 50s.
Ooh, the OGs.
Yeah.
And they have been doing finance. They have been doing it, you know. But now they're looking at, oh man,
I've been missing out.
They're like wondering. So they might be wondering right now, Brother Akeem, is it too late for me as someone in my 50s that has no savings to prepare for retirement, or should I just party like it's 1999?
Oh man, that is a good question. Good question. So honestly, the answer is the fact that God, an Almighty God, Allah, still gives you life.
Come on,
you
talk
still
to
got
me.
a chance.
Yeah.
So let's not write it off as if we serve. Because the last time I checked, we serve the Lord of the worlds, whose name is Allah, who came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. We don't serve the Lord of laziness. So if you're just going to write it off to say, yeah, it's too late for me, I'm just going to just do what I need to do. No. As a matter of fact, the government actually sets up what is called catch-up contributions. And so that means what essentially a catch-up contribution is exactly what it sounds like, Brother Mark, giving you a chance to catch up by contributing more. Currently, right now in 2025, if you're trying to do for a 401k, because I'm thinking if you haven't set up for your retirement, I'm thinking you also haven't really invested much for your for your retirement account. So you can do a catch-up contribution where you can not only max it out, you can give an additional $7,500 on top of that to actually catch up. Now, here's what you can also do, which is called the 4% rule. If you're running out of time, oh man, I'm 50 years old, I wanted to retire by 60. I wanted to retire by the retirement age 65 or between 69 and a half.
Right.
And I'm 55. I don't have time to save. Slow down. We can do this. Let's walk this. First of all, tell me, what does retirement look like for you? Man, I just want to be cool, man. I just want to be able to just get my check and just live in my house.
Yeah.
Fine. We'll do that. You can do what is called the 4% rule. We take all your assets or your income, take your liabilities, and figure out exactly how much you need to live off of on a regular basis. What is that monthly net income you need to have to be comfortable? And that's when we have to have an honest assessment about our bills. That's another tough conversation to have. But once we have that tough conversation, we're going to take that number, that magic monthly number, and we're going to divide it by 12 to get the annual income needed. Then, with that monthly annual income, you divide it by 4%. Why 4%? 4% is what you can invest literally into bonds. You can invest it literally into CDs. You can invest it literally into something that is risk low, not risk less, but risk low.
Right.
That even if you invested that lump sum amount, you can live off the dividends. You can live off the interest, and the principal will stay the same. And you can do that within less than 5 years, depending on how much you're willing to contribute, to set yourself up where you can actually live off of what is called the income of your money's money.
All right.
And by living off the income of your money's money, now you set yourself up for retirement. Now you have passive income through investments. And now you're setting yourself up to the point that your principal that you're not touching, but you're just living off of the effect of the money, can now be passed on to children. Success in less than 10 years.
Man, the man is good.
Sister Kalila, with your permission, there is a related question in the chat.
Absolutely.
Your sister LaShawn.
Hey, Shawnee.
She asked a question, Brother Hakeem. How long can we rely on, I guess, the retirement system, which we know is a time, I guess, time to be off.
By the
per the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
So let me break this down.
Please.
Okay, so we were born in a nation of Islam, right?
Right.
And my mom used to always say, "Hey, don't invest in this world because this world is going out," right? So all these 401ks, all these Roth things, and all this thing. Don't put your money all in that stuff. Don't get yourself all caught up in the wad. Make sure that you're right. Don't believe the hype. And so, that's prior to 75 teaching. So it's like it's one of those things that what you're talking, Brother Hakeem, is like, hey, this is an investment, but what if the lights get cut? What if the lights of this world get cut off like automatically? How are we going to pull from that Roth IRA or that 401k and et cetera, and say, hey, we want our money back? Because right now, we already know that this world is gone now.
Beautiful question. I promise I did not pay Sister LaShawn to give me that question. Okay? I was waiting for someone to say it. I've been waiting in the rafters for someone to say, you talk all this investing and stuff, but what happens when everything just crashes?
Right.
Answer your question, sister. Thank you for that. The minister said it the best.
Come on.
He said, even if the world ended tomorrow, still got to eat today.
That's right.
Now, now that you have this foresight, thanks to the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, you now have an opportunity to prepare. Now, here's how we can prepare. Let's walk through this. I'm gonna not get too excited. I'm gonna walk through this. First things first. You already know that the government is going to do everything they can to keep their world up as long as possible. Well, that's fine. Go ahead and do what you got to do. While you try to keep your world up as long as possible, I'm going to take advantage of you trying to keep your world up by making sure I have something on the side that's not being hit by taxes, right? Of course, speak to a tax advisor how to strategically do that. There's something called a Roth IRA that you can put after-tax money in, but let's stay the course. Now, you put your money over there because you don't want your money to be touched in taxes, so you're saving it up. But you're also keeping an eye out that says sooner or later, the musical chairs, the music is going to stop, and we all going to have to sit in some chairs. Otherwise, we're going to be out. Now, how you set yourself up for this is that you then start the process of living below your means, going back to basics here, but then you start looking for investment opportunity. You start looking for different ideas so that if this world stops and layoffs is across the board, you're not so concerned because you actually bought some land. And even when the world stops, land will still be in business. Even when the world stops, people are going to still need a place to stay. People are going to still need things to eat. And by you having a business, you're actually setting yourself up for that success. So now what happens? Let's continue the story. All right, it's getting a little shaky now, but guess what? Over the years, you've been saved up money in your 401k. Guess what you're going to do now? You're now going to set yourself up. If you're at the age where you can just take it out a little bit at a time, then you can do that. But what if you're not at the age? You can transfer it into what is called not a 401k, where they control it, but into an IRA, an individual retirement account where you can control it.
Yes,
So
sir.
now you have full control over it, but you transferred it from one trustee, the company, to another trustee, the brokerage who's managing your IRA, but you don't get hit with the tax liability because you didn't touch it with your hands. So now it's under your control. Okay, the world stopped, but guess what? You took your money out, you're good to go. You took your IRA and you have it only in cash. It's just sitting there. Now, we know we have to liquidate that cash. We got to turn it over as fast as possible. So we're going to now invest that money into different things that we know is going to survive the economic time. So this is actually a part of a case study that I'm actually doing right now called the Financial Plan for the Fall of America. So still working on it, but it goes right in sync with that. You take that money and you're going to invest it into land and livestock. Let's go back to the Bible. Remember what I said the Bible represented in my studies? Basic instructions for budget, lending, and equity. You go back in there. Look at it. What was the name of it? I had it here right in my notes. I think it was in Matthew. Help me out, Brother Tony, where they say, when were you hungry? I didn't feed you. When were you naked and you was not clothed?
Yes,
when
sir.
were you imprisoned or sick and I did not come and visit you? What you have done unto the least of these, my brethren, you have done unto me also. Jesus gave us the book because he gave us in that sentence all of the industries that will survive the test of time. I don't care if the dollar goes completely kaput, and as the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, that you'll see people rolling up $100 bills and smoking them.
Right.
Yep.
Doesn't matter, because you know what? You're still going to need shelter. When were you naked and I did not have shelter for you? You're still going to need to eat. When did you not be fed? You're still going to need to have food. When were you sick or in prison and I did not come visit you? We're still going to need doctors. Is the doctor still in the house? These are what we call, or in my studies that I'm calling, I'm doing my studies for it, what we call a biblical barter-ready business. That if money was no longer, if we had no more money, I can barter for my resources. Hey, Brother Tony, I heard you have a lot of land. But you know what? I'm really good at building houses, but I see you living in a tent. Would you mind? And here's my thought. Would you mind that if you give me a portion of this land, I will actually build you a home for free? That's an example, an extreme example. Yeah, Brother Mark.
That sounds very righteous.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's an alternative way of doing business, a righteous way of doing business. Now, one thing I don't want the viewing audience to believe is that I live in a tent.
Yes.
Right.
You live in, brother. If you live in a tent, like what you look, what you got, I want one of those tents. Well, give me one of those tents. Let me get two of them.
Here's one thing that does come to mind, Brother Hakeem. And by the way, that Bible verse that you mentioned in the book of Matthew, that's chapter 25, beginning with verse 35.
Thank you, brother.
However, what I was going to say is, when we're planning for retirement, see, we have active income and then we have passive income. We have to start developing more streams of income for ourselves where our money is actually making money for us. Investments are making money for us, and developing some units maybe in our backyard if the property that we're living in affords you the opportunity to build something in your backyard, find a way to do that. And as you're getting older, that in itself, and that could pay for the property itself.
Exactly.
And that is just one idea of how we can make retirement work for us.
Beautiful segue, Brother Tony. I got to go back. Bring the Bible back to the witness stand, please. Bring
Yes,
Brother
sir.
Mark. Bring the Bible back to the witness stand, please.
Let's
What
bring
you
it.
just said, Brother Tony, is exactly not just a good idea. That's actually biblically based. I mean, look, what did Ecclesiastes 11:1 say? Hey, give a portion of 7, yet 8. I think for 8 streams, for that you do not know what disasters may come upon the land. The Bible is literally telling you that you need to have 8 stream of income, not just good for retirement, but good for diversifying yourself to navigate the seasons that you go through.
Now,
So now,
Brother Hakeem, I wish I would have thought this way when I was way younger.
A little lad.
all praises due to Allah.
I wish I thought this way a little bit young when I was a little bit younger.
All praises due
Things
to
would be a
Allah.
lot different. Yes, sir.
I gotta give thanks to my parents. You know, they put that belt on me,
Yes, sir.
and you know, hey, gotta tell it what it is. Gotta tell it what it is. They really did a good job. All praises due to Allah.
You know, Brother Hakeem, you know, I think you already touched on this, or one of our viewing members, I call them the members, the executive board, already touched on how and when we should start planning for our children's futures as it relates to certain investments. One being the UTM, I mean, UTMA. But like, are there any others besides the UTMA? Or I mean, and the thing is, I like the one that you don't touch the money, because again, our realities and the obstacles of life do happen to where it's like, oh my God, I got to go into the baby's bank account. Are there any other investments that we can, you know, channel in regards to children investments?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah, there's plenty more. Plenty more. Let's see, just to name a few, you can actually, we already talked about the UTMA. We also kind of touched base on a 529 plan. I'm a bigger fan of the 529 plan compared to a Coverdell education savings plan. And here's why. It's because the Coverdell education savings plan just takes care of you from preschool all the way to high school, but we want to take care of college. The 529 plan can help with that. That's really good because one of the biggest expenses that our students are going through right now is student loans. They can't even buy a house, a 1-bedroom, because of the student loans. So it's really putting them in a form of bondage. And by having a 529 plan and by having those investments allows them the opportunity to actually free themselves from the bondage of debt. So really good one. Let's see what else we got. Other basic brokerage account. You can actually set up what is called a trust. So you can set up a trust for your children where that even if anything were to happen to you before they reach a certain age, which in the trust you can set, they can't touch the money. Now, if we really want to get fancy, we can set up a trust account where the money is accumulated in there and it's growing and it's compounding. You actually see this a lot in Caribbean culture, most specifically in the Haitian culture, where they have this collective investment strategy called, I think it's called a susu. Yes, a susu, where everybody is contributing, the entire family, the congregation, they're all contributing so that every single month someone else can get a piece of that. But hey, let's just say we set up something like that for the family. And everybody in the family is contributing every single month to it. You can put that in there and put that into a trust, and that trust can have a set of instructions. Anytime we talk about trust, make sure you consult a trust attorney that can set this up for you. But you set up the rules, and you can say the rules of this is that they're not allowed to take from this money unless this money is used for business purposes. They're not allowed to touch this investment unless it's used to purchase a home. So now you're controlling not just the future, but you're leading them. What was it? What was that in that thing? You're leading them. What was it? Lead them not into temptation. There it is. Whew,
Yeah.
you're
Right.
leading them not into temptation.
Yes, sir.
There we go. Back to the Bible. Now I'm gonna give the Quran some highlights too. It said, "Guide us on the straight path."
Right.
Those upon whom I can't forget about the Quran. They're brothers here. So
Right.
you can set up a trust that guides your children on the straight path. See, they can't touch the money to go buy the new sneakers. They can't touch the money to go buy the PS6.
That's right.
But they can use it to set themselves up for success. They can use it to buy a business, and you can set up the rules of the trust for that. So that's just one of the Miggy ones. We're trying to go bigger than a piggy bank here.
Right.
I mean, we got health savings accounts as well. We know our children are going to get sick. But guess what? If we put it into a health savings account, that's money set to the side that's not being taxed. And if it's used for health services, it can be tax deferred or even tax free. Please consult your tax advisor. That can help for your children as well. Those are the many things. And of course, we get it right down to a Roth IRA or even a traditional IRA. Well, mostly Roth. We like Roth better. A Roth IRA that you can set up for them. So there's many different programs and many solutions, but it depends on what is most important for you. I hope I didn't talk too much, Brother Tony.
No.
No, you're not talking too much. This is invaluable information. We want the viewing audience to go out and take notes, replay this program and take notes. And we're going to give you the contact information to Brother Hakeem.
Please, please.
Close out so that he could personally assist you on multiple levels.
Look, they're going to come and visit me in the bank.
Yeah.
Well, definitely not.
Like, I don't want to see you always see that brother back there.
I was gonna make a joke. Definitely not the piggy bank, Brother Hakeem.
Yeah. The veggie bank.
The veggie bank.
Yeah. The bank shaped like a stalk of broccoli.
We have a question by Sister Khalila's husband, Brother Sean. Here he is. He says, "My question is: with this world coming to an end, this is similar to Sister LaShawn, on how confident should we feel in? I guess it says inputting our money into those financial vehicles that you mentioned earlier." And then he adds, "Should we focus more on IULs than grow tax-free and buying gold and silver?"
Excellent question, Brother Sean. Let's take that second question because it's smaller. That question in regards to we focus on IULs, what is called Index Universal Life, or buying gold and silver. I would say again, as a fiduciary, it depends. See, we're not here to give you stock picks. I'm not saying go put all your money in Tesla or buy Meta. That's not the point, because every person's financial outlook is different.
Come on.
Very good.
Saying you just need to put buying gold and silver, well, that may not work for the person that's working, that needs to save up and put their money towards different retirement accounts. Now, let's talk about that retirement account. How confident should you feel? Well, first of all, your confidence shouldn't be in any of that stuff. See, we're not investing because we're confident in it. We're investing to leverage it. It's here. It is an instrument that is here. And we know that the white man is going to do everything in their power to keep it going. So I guess what, I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of that, put a little bit to that I can use and take advantage of the tax law that y'all put in place. Now, what you should be confident in is the teachings that we have. The teachings from the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the teachings from the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that tells you to pool your resources together. Not to go buy a stock, but to pool your resources together to buy an enterprise, to buy a business, to buy passive income. Let's go back to the Bible, basic instructions for budget lending and equity. What are those things that Jesus talked about in the book of Matthew? Buying one of those. Matter of fact, if you look on the stock market, they actually have a name for all of those industries that Jesus talked about. They call them defensible industries. So they know that there's already a section of the market that if anything were to collapse, we know that those businesses are still going to be, and they're still going to need to work, whether money is good or not. They're just going to have to find another way to transfer or trade. So what your job is not to rely on what the white man is doing, but to figure out what did the most honorable Elijah Muhammad say we should be doing.
Mhm.
And that is buying our own industry, buying our own businesses, setting up land for ourselves so that we can control our destiny.
Brother Hakeem, keeping the economy within ourselves,
Yes.
investing in our own. When I purchased this property that I'm living in right now, Brother Hakeem, and the house had to be developed, I hired both FOI, I hired some of my black brothers and sisters who were not members of the Nation of Islam, but they're still members of the Nation of Islam. They're part of
Yes.
our family. I
Yeah.
also hired Latino workers, those who I'm close with and support what we are about. And they all worked on this property right here. And I still hire them to work on this property, keeping everything among ourselves. And I
Yep.
see this property right here as part of my investment.
Yep.
And I'm going to keep working with my own so that we can grow and develop what we have together.
Yep.
We have to always think about the power of unity and not just talk about it, but be about it and actually put it into effect.
Excellent. Excellent. Excellent.
Which this leads me to I have another question in just a moment. I'm gonna just address Sister LaShawn real quick. Yes, dear sister, your question was answered a few minutes ago. After the end
Play
of the
the tape.
program, you want to press replay and
Play the
watch
tape.
this again because your question was answered.
Okay, so to my sister's defense, she is also an entrepreneur. She
Yes.
owns her own cleaning company.
Oh yeah.
So when she is in the buildings, she don't get a lot of she's moving. She's
Oh,
like
yes.
all over the place. So sometimes she'll get like some areas where it's kind of like a dead area where she can't hear the broadcast. But big sis, I'm finna tell you, this
She's
right
tuning
here,
in.
listen, this here is something that you are literally gonna have to sit down and study. This is a study material podcast today. So with all due respect, I love you. Yes, your question was answered, but my suggestion is you're going to be actually going on a trip. You need to put this into your stereo and listen while you are riding. Talk about it amongst your child because she's also one of the investors of your business, right? And have the young children who's going to be sitting in the back with their phones, talking about what's on Facebook and all. Well, I don't think young children on Facebook, but you know what I mean. Have them listen in as well, because this whole dynamic of this podcast is about each and every single one of the people that's going to be traveling with you to Atlanta. So I just wanted to say that.
Brother Hakeem, before I get to my question, we have a question here from Brother Rashad Ishmael Shabazz. Well, he tunes in every week. He's in Fort
Yes.
Myers, Florida. He says, Assalamu alaikum, in the 7th region. I don't know what
We're
PRN
faced with
A program.
we are faced with the job of retraining men and women.
prison reform ministry.
Prison
Oh,
reform.
okay.
Ah, thank you for that.
Get this man a bean
Prison
pie.
reform ministry.
Get this
We are
man.
faced with the
Yes.
job.
I'm like program.
We are faced with the job of retraining men and women who have been hardened into the wrong mindset. What's the best approach to igniting the desire to learn and save and invest in that sequential order? I'm going to keep the question up there so you can marinate on it a little bit, Brother Hakeem.
Well, walaikum salam, Brother Rashad. That is a beautiful question. We have the responsibility to reforming our people. And I would say the best way to do that, let's just go right back to basics here. And there's an African proverb that say, each one reach one, each one teach one. So in order for us to soften those hardened hearts of our brothers and sisters, is that we got to first show them that we care. We got to be with them. Then once we show them and it's clearly established that we care, then we must be an example. That's one of the biggest things. We have to be an example. In order, by you being an example, you're taking advantage of the same investments. You're taking advantage of the same practices. You're buying yourself and doing your own research to figure out what business can help you with passive income, what business can help you build your legacy. And then once you do that, you build up enough fire to the point that they see the smoke from back there and they say, I got to go check this out. What is he doing? Now they already know that you care, so that they feel comfortable to speak freely. And then you can then sit down with them and says, come on to the Mars. We actually have a program. We teach you how to do all of this step by step. You got them. That's exactly how you do it. But you got to be the example. You want, as what does they say? You want to be the change that you want to see in the world. Most importantly, that's what the children are seeing. They're seeing what they want to be. And if you don't look like what they want to be in the high sense, then they have no choice but to look somewhere else. So that's how you do it.
Excellent.
I have. Okay, now this is my question here. Keeping it very basic 101, Brother Hakeem, because we're not living basic 101.
That's right.
What is the wisest way to use credit cards in preparation for future opportunities? And that's especially for our young people.
Okay. I like that one, brother. I like that one. So let's talk. Let's just keep it basic, man. First of all, in order to keep it basic, we got to understand where the word credit came from. So we understand its purpose. What creates a thing denotes its nature, right? So we got to figure this thing out. Let's go back in time a little bit. Credit. How to handle credit. Well, the word credit actually came from the Greek word credere, which means trust. So now this changes things now.
We can stop right there.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. So if we go ahead and we take the word credit out and we replace it with trust, now go back to the brother and say, how important is it to build trust? Now they're on board. Let's dig deeper now. We know that it is 10 times more difficult to repair trust than it is to build trust, right? Take the brother back and say, now replace that with the word credit, because they're one and the same. So now they already now have an understanding of, whoa, okay, so this is a instrument that's used to show banks how much they can trust me. So I gotta make sure that I'm building my trust score so that I won't be found untrustworthy and eliminating myself to access. So now common sense kicks in. How can I make sure that I can have a good trust with the bank, the people who establish the credit? All you got to do is ask yourself, is your word bond? Go back to the teachings. The teachings tell you. What do the teachings say, brother Tony? You know, my word is bond, and I shall give my life before my word shall fail.
My word is bond is life. Bond is life. And I should give my word
life before
my word shall fail. That is credit. That is credit.
That's real credit right there.
That's real credit. That's real credit.
Oh my God, my God.
So now,
bada boom, bada bing. I love it. Oh my God. Ooh.
So just to answer that brother's question.
So so instead of me having a credit card, I have a trust card.
You have a trust card. Just if you switch that, you already have an idea on how you need to build your credit, because you already know how to build trust. You've been alive long enough to have your trust broken and to break other people's trust. Let's be real. So you have an idea what you need to do. Now, let's get back to the practical sense. When you have a credit card, or like to Sister Kahila's point, I am pronouncing it right, right?
Well, in the Arabic term, that is correct, Sister Halila. But in the modern day term, it's Sister Kalila with a K.
Okay. Let us go with whatever you want.
That's fine.
So, to your point, what's the practical thing you can do? I always tell my clients, when you starting to build credit, you want to start off with a secured credit card compared to an unsecured. Why? Because you're more likely to get approved for the secured card than the unsecured card, because the secured card is you practically lending from yourself. Like you're starting out the process of dating or courting. Let me be clear. In the process of courting, they want to see how much they can trust you. So they give you something small to do.
Right.
I'm going to have you wear a secured account where you put money into an account, and this card's purpose is to only borrow from the limit that you place for yourself with the amount you put in. Typically, it starts between either $100 to $500. And I would tell the client, you must make sure that you're only using this card for 3 G's: gas, groceries, and one good night out. That is it. Like the 3 G's on your phone. Let me back up. I forgot. We're in 2025. We have 5G now, right?
5G. They're
5G.
working on 6.
So
6.
we only want 3G. We only want 3G right now. So 3G.
For credit purposes.
Yes, for this purpose, gas, groceries, one good night out. Why? Because that allow you to keep your payments reasonable. You get to use it and then you pay it off before the end of the 30 days. Why 30 days? Because every 30 days, the Fair and Isaac company, FICO, does a 30-day check.
Yep.
So if you did not make the payments by the 1st and you're getting charged by the 15th, a late fee, don't panic too much. Make sure you pay it down or pay it off before the 30th, and your credit will still be intact. Because they do not report late fees on the credit until 30-day cycles. So long story short, gas, groceries, one good night out, and just make sure you're making those payments on time every time. You do that long enough, you build that trust long enough, your credit score will be absolutely fine.
And what is good credit? What are the advantages of having good credit, Brother Hakeem? What in this world that we're living in right now, how does that open up doors for me?
Oh, beautiful question, brother. Well, to your first question, what is good credit? Honestly, good credit is anything above a 6. I would like to say a 650. Of course, you can go on Google. Some say 640, some say 660. But honestly, if you want to open up the door for you to have at least 80% access to some of the opportunities and lending programs, 650, you're good to go. Yes. Now, to the second question is, what is the benefits of having good credit? Am I right, Brother Tony?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the benefits of having good credit, let's just start with the good credit. It gives you access to opportunities such as purchasing a home. It gives you access to opportunity to buy a business. It gives you access to opportunities to sometimes even having a good job. Because there's some jobs, government and even private, that you can't even get the job unless you have a good credit score. Right. Why, Sister Kalila, right? We're going to go modern today?
Yeah, we definitely
modern today. Okay.
For the people in the back.
For the people in the back. Why? Why is that important to have a good credit just to get the job? Well, remember, replace the word credit with trust. I don't want to hire you if I can't trust you. So that's the purpose of having good credit. You show to the banks and to those who you're looking to do business with that you are trustworthy. If you can't even pay yourself back, what makes you think you're going to pay attention to me? I mean, some of us out here, brother, I don't mean to be vulgar, but brother, some of us out here too, they're so broke that they can't even pay attention.
True.
Y'all didn't catch that.
No, we didn't.
I
We
got
definitely did.
I got it.
Absolutely.
You got it? All right, you got it. I'm not much of a jokester though, but nonetheless.
No, we got it.
But that's the importance of having good credit. Now, let's add on to that, Brother Tony. What's the importance of having great credit? Now, what does great credit look like? Great credit is anything above a 720. Why is 720 when a 700 is okay? Well, 700s are good, but we're talking about great. When you have a 720 credit score, you literally walk into any dealership, you walk into any place that establishes credit. When they see that 720 or above, they're literally saying, what do you want? Whatever you want in here, you can get it. You can get it. You can get this. You can get that. Why? Because you've proven yourself to be so trustworthy that they don't have to go through additional safety guards to give you access to the opportunity to purchase whatever you're looking for, fill in the blank. So go back to it. Credit is trust. So we have to make sure that you're trustworthy. And the more trustworthy you are, the more things you can have. That's the purpose of having great credit. Now, it also makes it less expensive for you. By you having excellent credit, they are forced to be competitive. And by forcing them to be competitive, it works out into your benefit of giving a lower interest rate, which we know in our culture, we're not even supposed to have interest. So it is imperative as a Muslim, one, and for the other brothers and sisters that go by a different faith, remember, Muslim is just one who submits the will to do the will of God. So whatever you call yourself, as long as you're submitting your will to do the will of God, you're welcome to the club. So if you're part of that club, it's imperative for you to get the best rate if it's not zero, because you're not allowed to have high interest. You're not allowed to have a high interest credit card at 29.9%, but we know we have them. So it's imperative that you pay it off or pay it down on time every time to avoid that. Interest is the robber bearer of wealth. Debt is the robber bearer of wealth. And it's imperative as those who submit their will to do the will of God to have as least interest as possible. But the only way to access that is that you gotta have great credit, which is great trust.
You know, brother Hakeem, I remember when I was getting my first car, and I was so excited. You know, they was like, okay, you know, I don't have to have a co-signer. And I was so happy. I was like, oh my God, you know, it's my own car. I don't have to nobody have to tell me what to do. And I was so happy. And so as I was at the dealership, you know, I'm waiting, you know, waiting and anticipating. I see this man come in. He's a foreigner, and he has his family. And of course, the dealer that I was talking to immediately went to him and his aide, right? And so he set him aside. He was like, "Oh, you know, Miss Muhammad, I'm gonna talk to you in just a minute. I'm gonna talk to you in just a minute. Let me deal with this person here." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." I mean, maybe he was there before me, you know, rising above emotion into thinking of God. So, so then, when I noticed the conversation that they were having, this guy was purchasing actually the same car that I was purchasing. And not only he was purchasing the same car that I was purchasing, because I've already got the amount that I was going to be paying on my car. When he was told the same amount on his car, I was like, wait a minute. Oh no. I mean, because he was paying like close to nothing for his payments, versus I was like, wait a minute, we have the same car. But his interest was much lower than mine. And you know, we just had different colors. It was different. It was just a different color of the car. So I was first of all, I was like, you know, first of course I'm going to pull the race card. This is racism, you know, because I'm black. You know, it's black. I'm black. And so when I pulled my dealer over, and I was like, hey, I just noticed that I'm paying this amount, and he is paying practically pennies for his car. Why is that? And he was like, well, Miss Mom, you just got to get your weight up. You got to get your weight up. I said, I don't know what get your weight up means. You know, but now that you're saying these things, and now that I have grown into the knowledge of credit, I always remember that always plays in my head in regards to getting the same thing but expecting different results in regards to how you treat yourself and how you treat what somebody has given you as a promise to pay back. So I just wanted to share that because it is real. You cannot pull the race card because like they said, documentation beats conversation any day.
That's right.
And what my brother Jay-Z says, men lie, women lie,
Numbers don't.
numbers don't. And that
Mhm.
number did win over mine. So with that being said, yeah, I just wanted to bring that up.
No, I appreciate you bringing that up. That's a good point. Like you mentioned, it's not racism; it's capitalism. They're
Right.
going
Mm,
by, who they can trust, and he's developed not only a relationship with that dealer, his credit score shows that he's developed great relationships with other creditors, other dealers as well, and it
mm,
checks out. So because his trust level was higher than yours, his opportunities were higher than yours. That's it.
mm.
Of course, you get the idea. I'm not,
Of course, definitely.
yeah,
Oh, of course.
yeah, yeah. We can go all day with that.
Right,
I would trust my friend over trusting the stranger because I've had more relationships with my friend than the stranger. So I'm gonna throw a little something extra for my friend compared to
right,
the brother that just walked through the door, even though I love them both dearly. But my
sure,
friend over here, brother Tony, I'm gonna be a little extra with him.
right,
Case in point.
right.
Mhm.
All right, my dear brother Hakeem, for to wrap up this wonderful topic tonight,
Hmm.
and I must say you did an excellent job.
Yes,
I
yes.
Praises due to Allah.
This subject I've been studying for many, many years, even though it's not my main profession, but I must say you did an excellent job, dear brother.
All
Um,
praises due to Allah.
this question is near and dear to my heart because it is truly my concern in working with the Healthy Relationships team that had put on in the Nation of Islam many of the legendary single retreats years and years ago, and working with that team headed by Sister AT. Um, uh, we encounter a lot of brothers, and we always have this when we have these singles events. The sisters are participating, but the brothers' side is always very weak.
Mhm.
Not many brothers. And
Mhm.
one of these reasons is this particular subject that we're on in terms of finance. And so, my question to you is this: let's look at the path of a single brother that desires to get married. From a financial sense, he has many financial obligations. He has to consider uh, travel expenses if he's courting a sister out of town.
Yep.
He has to consider paying for courtship outings, including not just the sister he's courting, but the chaperoning couple. He has to consider expenses for wedding ring. He has to consider expenses for mortgage or closing on a home or even with renting an apartment and ongoing household expenses as well for a family of at least two or more. Could you please, and you've really given us a lot of tools tonight, and in wrapping this all up, could you kind of walk us through the best path for that brother to have success as a maintainer starting as a single man?
Absolutely. Starting as a single man, starting out, the
Just starting
best
out.
way to prepare yourself is to identify and quantify the cost.
Okay.
Brother Tony, you may have to help me out with this one as well, but there was a verse in the Bible that says, who builds a castle without counting the cost?
Mm.
Yeah.
So Once again, I'm telling you that Bible don't miss, bro. It
I
don't miss.
know.
I know it's been tampered with, but we still believe in the truth that is within it.
Lord have mercy. Jesus, Father
So to
God.
that point, he has to count the cost. Like to mention, you got to pay for the sister's travel. You got to pay for the chaperone. Now you blew me away with this one, brother. I'm still new. I got to pay for the chaperone's dinner
Of
too.
course you do.
Of course you do.
Of
course.
course.
Yes.
So
It's an
now
honor to even have a chaperone.
it is. It's a
We'll talk
beautiful thing,
offline.
but you got to quantify. You got to quantify that. So now we done X'd out Benihana's. We done X'd out.
I hope you're not gonna take up the Taco Hell, brother.
No, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna take them down to the Eat to Live Cafe, and that's where we're gonna stay right there. So, to your point, quantify. What does that look like? And then once you understand exactly what that monthly number, that annual number is, that becomes what you call your courtship number. It goes by another name when you're trying to get off the white man's job, known as the freedom number. But find that courtship number. Once you find that courtship number, now you begin the process, like we said in the beginning, work backwards. Okay, how much money do I need to earn? Okay, that means I can't be doing Uber all the time, even though it gives me daily bread because I'm a 1099, another story for another time. But at least I'm getting daily bread. But that daily bread is not enough because that just half of that or 2/3 of that goes to my gas and maintenance. So I got to get something else going on because I got to hit that courtship number. I got to hit that number before we can even have a conversation. So now, okay, I got to do some more investing. I got to up my skills. I got to go back to school. I got to maybe get another designation. Maybe I can finally go be that doctor that I said I was going to be, even though it's going to take 7 years. No problem. Guess what? 7 years from now, it will still be 7 years from now. Take the opportunity to do it. So go back and figure out what can you do, because there's everything in your power to make it happen. But you got to know, you got to have a target to hit. That's what you need to do.
Come on, beloved. Come on.
And if you have that target, you can hit it. And that's what you need to do. Once you got that courtship number, you'll figure everything else out because you know you got to hit that number like a monthly obligation.
You got to hit it.
There you go. That's all you do.
Man.
Brother Hakeem, that Bible
really
verse that you mentioned, that comes from the book of Luke, chapter 14, verse 28. And it reads, suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it?
Boop. Don't miss basic instructions for budgeting, lending, and equity, people. I'm telling you.
Wait. But that verse that continues into the next verse, Brother Hakeem. It gets brutal. It says here, the 29th verse says, for if you lay the foundation and are not able to finish it, everyone who sees it will ridicule.
Laugh.
Hey, you said you were gonna go and do this and that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God!
You didn't do it.
Oh man, Brother Tony, can I share something with you?
We don't want to set ourselves up for that.
Can I
Especially if we're speaking out loud about what we are planning and doing.
Oh man, let me tell you that gave me goosebumps because it took me back to my days of courting.
Isn't that brutal, Sister Kalila?
I'm speechless.
Yeah,
that's in the book of Luke. Go ahead, Brother Hakeem.
Because I'm glad you shared that. I'm glad you elevated that point because let me tell you, man to man, and Sister Kalila, please verify this if I'm right. It's nothing more embarrassing than going out to eat. You hand them the card, and then they come back and say, "Sir, there's something wrong with this card." You know,
something wrong with
I'll be like,
and your card has been declined, sir.
And I'm just being honest with you, brother. Look, Brother Hakeem, I just look. I ain't gonna help. I ain't gonna do none of that.
What?
That's exactly what she did too.
No, I'm not.
You help me.
I listen.
Mm-hmm.
You invited me.
Yep.
Go back to the book of Luke.
Mm-hmm.
You said you was going to establish this foundation.
Yeah.
And you say you ain't going to establish this foundation if you broke, go and see Kalila. Absolutely not.
There you go.
You
And
gotta
that's
go
why,
ask them for a rag and where you can start washing dishes at. Cause listen, at the end of the day,
and you're
Look, look,
only
look, look
you
at, look
only
at
you
this.
only
Can I
you
get a
only verify
witness?
you
Look,
only
look at
verify
this. Sister Farah saying hola.
you only
Holla,
verify why we
excuse me.
titled this
Holla.
Economics
In
of
Spanish.
Manhood.
Please, brothers out there, please, brothers, for the sake
Please,
of
brothers, for the sake of brothers.
know your courtship number. Please
Uh-huh.
count your costs before you start building the tower. The tower.
Yeah,
Sister Farah,
yeah.
red flags flying everywhere.
Oh Lord,
dang.
the Economics of Manhood.
Oh, you better pull out another card. Look,
You
what
got one.
You better pull out your Cash App card.
look, no,
PayPal.
are
You
the
have all your
secure
money
credit
stored
card where you're supposed to be doing the GGGs? Where your GGG card at, sir?
See what happened was,
there.
The way my bank account is set up.
my bank account is set up. I gotta get in the state.
Right.
Right.
Where the GGG at?
I need to call Brother Hakeem. I need to get some advice.
Look, what they
Hey,
said.
credit card, quick.
What is the G5G at? Where's the G5G at? You need to pull out the G5G.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Brother Hakeem. Listen, let me tell you something. I know for the listening audience, I don't care what nobody said. I don't care about it. I love y'all listening audience. But hey, I'm gonna have to make an executive decision right now. We're gonna have to bring him back. We're gonna have to bring Brother Hakeem back. Listen,
Show.
because listen, let me tell you something, and I can just only bear witness. A lot of people are on this podcast, and a lot of people got off because it started getting really hot.
Mhm.
And I'm just being honest with you. You ever had one of these situations that you just scrolling on Facebook, and all of a sudden you hit a minister and he talking about you, and you don't really want to hear it, and you have the opportunity to scroll by because I'll be like, God, dog, that got hot.
Yeah.
This is one of these conversations that has gotten hot, and a lot of people don't want to hear it.
Oh Lord.
And I'm just being
Don't
honest
be
with
like
you.
that.
Okay.
No, I'm just being real. And the thing is, this is where miscommunication goes. And a lot of people that's going to, take this information and interpret it, right, the way they want to interpret it. But again, if it's a what they say is mathematics is Islam, and Islam is mathematics.
That's right.
Islam is not a fraction.
Mhm.
It's a whole number.
It's a whole number. Say Allah is one.
Allah is one.
Look, I'm gonna go back to that Bible verse that Brother Hakeem just mentioned because
Please,
it gets
put it in
worse.
the chat.
Look, it gets worse. Look.
Let it go. Let it go.
Chapter 14, verse 28. Suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? See, the cost is not just the money itself, it's the dedication and the sacrifice
and the
involved.
trust.
You have what it takes.
And
Do
the
you have
trust.
the endurance, the tenacity? Sister Kalila, then it says, for if you lay the foundation, our foundation is our teachings. And it teaches us to stay firm and to continue to work. You have a goal, keep working towards a goal. For if you lay the foundation and not able to finish it, everyone who sees it will ridicule you. Then in the 30th verse, it says, saying this person began to build and wasn't able to finish.
Oh my God.
Anyone to talk that way.
You don't want
no one.
No.
We are here for the long haul. This is eternal.
Yeah.
Something that we are setting up for our children and our children's children and children's 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 children and forevermore.
There you go. Couldn't have said it better myself, Brother Tony.
What kind of foundation are we setting for them?
Exactly.
Staying firm on these teachings and these principles.
My God, Brother Tony.
My,
Jesus.
If I had a mic, I would drop it.
Oh my
y'all
God.
getting me excited here tonight.
Man, so of course, you if by your permission, because I might have to drag you from out of wherever comfort zone you in, brother Hakeem, to do another part two. And
Oh,
I think that we definitely need to discuss the realities of this world going out and how we can be prepared, right? Because
mhm.
again, what you're saying right now is only a reminder.
Mhm.
It's only a reminder, and that when it's a warner before destruction,
Yes.
and you can turn the pages all you want to, you're
Mhm.
gonna be faced with it. You know what the messengers say, you either come with a from a come in with a weighty word or a butt whooping.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the weighty word,
This is the weighty word.
We must do for self, or what,
or
Sister Kalila?
suffer the consequences.
That's right.
Yeah. Or can, in this case, continue to suffer the consequence.
Oh my
Well, a lot of
God,
us
because
are continuing to suffer consequences
yeah.
because we refuse to do for self.
Mm-mm-mm.
Absolutely.
Brother Mark, let's just go right into it. Okay, so brother Hakeem, our next segment that we do is called the Knowledge Corner, right?
Okay.
And the Knowledge Corner is a segment that's near and dear to my heart. And it's where you gain knowledge, you gain power. Okay.
Mhm.
And our segment for the Knowledge Corner is planning financially for investments is crucial, and why. And
Wow.
brother Mark is going to take us into that segment.
All right, family. Tonight's Nas Corner. We're going to say this: starting to plan financially for retirement is crucial for several reasons. Longer life expectancy. The average lifespan is increasing, which means you'll need more retirement funds to live comfortably. Next is the quality of life. Sufficient savings can enhance your quality of life in retirement, allowing you to enjoy activities and hobbies you love. Then there is healthcare costs. As you age, healthcare costs will rise, and having a substantial retirement fund can help cover these expenses. Then there's financial security. Early planning provides financial security and peace of mind,
Mhm.
ensuring you have enough to live comfortably without the stress of financial instability. And then there's flexibility and freedom. A well planned retirement allows you to pursue personal growth, explore new interests, and maintain social connections. By starting early, you can build a financial cushion that supports your lifestyle and aspirations in retirement. It's a proactive step
Mm.
that can lead to a more fulfilling and stress free retirement. That is our knowledge corner.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Praises
I
be.
co-sign that. We approve
All
it.
praise is due to Allah. It's official.
All right.
Praises be to
Great.
Allah. And for those of you who heard, oh my God, I forgot to mention. All right, so
Oh,
tomorrow,
May Allah
who is
bless
that?
you. Great success, Sister Kalila.
Look at those three
Yeah.
beautiful sisters.
I know
Mhm.
I am not worthy. So
Wow. That's huge. May
yes,
16th, write it down. Wait, that's tomorrow. May
that is
16th.
tomorrow. So
All
I will
right.
be on my dear brother, brother Jihad's podcast on tomorrow morning. Um I will be the subject title, why no nation can rise no higher than its woman.
Oh, this is right on time.
All right now.
So the men got the highlight today, and right tomorrow the women gonna get the show. Praise
Right.
be
All
to
right.
Allah.
So
We got
I
the star of
am
God backing you up.
Listen,
Wow.
I will be I will be on the show tomorrow, and I encourage you all to um just come and just again fellowship with me and everyone that's going to be on the show. I'm looking forward to all the questions. And the thing is, I love this subject because I am a true believer of sisterhood. And as far as experience, I have been through the highways, the byways, the lows, and the highs. And I understand, how when people say, I believe, I know why a nation can't rise no higher than its woman, because I look at the condition of our nation as it is and how we have been treated as women, and that's why there has not been a rise. So tomorrow, please share your love with my dear brother, as I make an attempt
You
to
got this.
You got this.
list these two beautiful examples of why a nation can't rise no higher than this woman. I was like, oh my God, put these beautiful examples beside me. So I got even more nervous in regards to this. But please stay
You
tuned for
got this, Miss
tomorrow.
Clem.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
inshallah, I will be talking to you tomorrow soon. Please get the information. You can also go onto my Facebook page for that information as well. All right. And with that being said, we do need you.
Ha! Yes, we do.
Yes,
We
we
need your
do.
support, dear family. If you've
Yes.
benefited in any type of way from this program here tonight or any other programs that we, the Seventh Region Coalition to Help Save Lives, has brought to you, um, please make a donation here tonight. It does not have to be a large amount, although we will not refuse a large amount. We will accept any kind of denomination that you send. All we're gonna do is we're gonna put it to good use and keep this going. Where the StreamYard streaming service that we use does cost money, and we every year we get a little bill, which we have to defray those costs. We thank you for whatever you're able to give tonight, and may Allah God continue to bless you all and your families.
Give up the money. I'm just kidding. Praises be to Allah. We are thankful for your donation.
Thank you. And Brother Hakeem, how can people support you and be in
Please.
touch with
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Honestly, the best way to support me is that if you ever have a question or you're looking to get further insight on your particular financial scenario, well, come down, go ahead and give me a call, and we'll set up a time where we can talk more about it. It's on the house. There's no cost to get a plan, but it is up to you to execute on it.
Wow.
All
you?
you
What
need.
if
What?
you're is this like a business line that people could call?
Oh yeah, yeah. Man, you
What
caught me off
number is
guard.
that?
Let me see. I think it's 7. Wow.
Oh,
Hold on. Caught me off guard. You caught me on that one. Let me
Take
see.
your time.
Hang
I
on.
want you to say it, Brother Hakeem.
You gotta see that. See, that's why they always say
When
if you're always ready, you ain't gotta get ready,
when
right?
you said free, everybody sitting on the edge of their seat, get that
Like
number.
free,
Free.
free,
Matter of fact, here we go. I'm gonna do this for y'all here. Hang on.
or any
Let me-
social media handle that people could reach out to you on.
Yes, you
Yeah.
can always reach out to me at. Well, matter of fact, the best way to reach out to me would be at what was my name to put more? It caught me off guard here one man. I don't even know my handle with it. But if you want to reach me, you can email me directly at hakeem.muhammad@ml.com. And if you want to have a conversation with me, by all means, you can go online and give me a call at 954-280-9669. Please feel free to just go online. We can even book an appointment if you just type in my name. And I did not want to name drop the company, but yes, you can give me a free consult. I can come here. You can get a free consultation, and you can schedule an appointment online.
And what is the handle? Hakeem Muhammad at
ml.com.
Yep.
Let me see if I can share my screen really fast. And just so that a shameless plug here. Let me see here. If hope it is working. Yep. This
Yeah,
screen
we
is
got to Khalil, just put
there we
your
go.
email.
There you go. There's my digital business card. So now if you're ever wondering, I do have a website. You click on that website there, you can schedule an appointment with me or just give me a call or even add me to your contacts and we'll definitely talk about what your needs are and what you're looking for your family and your financial future. There's my shameless plug.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Brother Tony, for giving me that alley-oop. Should have been ready. Should have been ready. I wasn't ready, but thank
Brother
you.
Hakeem, before we did tonight's program, we want to make sure that you benefit from this program, as
Well,
all of our guests.
Well, all praise is due to Allah, dear brother. But as they say, Allah got my back, man. I mean, there's a reason why I'm here in the first place. If Allah wasn't the best of knowers and sustainer for all my needs, I don't even think I would even be here. Well, I know for sure we wouldn't be here, but I know I wouldn't be on this podcast.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah.
There we go. I was trying to find the button the whole time. There we go.
Praises be to Allah. Okay, well, immediately close us out, Brother Tony, because with StreamYard, if we go over 2 hours, I have to do a whole bunch of editing, and I don't want to edit none of
Yeah,
this.
we ain't gonna do that. Tune in next week, dear family. I'm not gonna say same bat channel, same bat whatever. We're not bats. Same same time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join the live chat. May Allah God continue to bless you all and your families. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.